Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show, a podcast about computer games. My name's David Turner and I'm here with Sean Bell.
Hello.
Matt Murray.
Hello.
And James Farlong.
Well, hello there.
No, that's not.
You're not going to do it anymore, so I thought I could.
Trying to clean sheet now, so start again, scratch all that. Yes, we're here to talk about computer games, and let's get this out of the way because it's only been brought to my attention since talking amongst friends what this show is going to be called, that we're not actually going to be talking about PC games. Well, Sean might, because that's what it's like, but I didn't know people said video games for console games and computer games for computer games. Like, I think
that was a division I was aware of, yeah. But I think most people just say video games now.
Wow,
do they?
Not us, Sean.
Cool people do.
We're going to reclaim that because when I was growing up, it was always computer games. It was always
still computer games for me.
Really?
Yeah, video games just sounds I still in my head I still think computer games, and maybe it's because I started on Commodore 64 and stuff, and had a PC, then the Master System or whatever. But for me it's still computer games in my head.
But when we were coming up with
video games,
when we were coming up with the title of the show, it was very nearly the video game show.
Which I still been happy.
I still think that sounds better.
It does, and so did a load of other people that created a show with the same name, which was the main problem here. And so, I mean, coming up with a name for a new podcast is so much harder than I could ever imagine. I mean, we spent 3 days, was it, in a WhatsApp group? This was 3 months
all we
ago.
came up with.
This was 3 months ago. I did say that, didn't I? By the time we settled on the computer game show, I did turn around and say, this has taken us 3 days. And we've come out.
Thing is, though, if one of us had just said, look, we should just call it the computer game show and shut up and deal with it and we'll move on, we wouldn't have accepted it. But we went through a full democratic process.
Very rigorous.
There was voting and everything. There was second right. It was ridiculous. Several rounds as well. It wasn't just first past the post. This was,
no. We still didn't settle on the one that won that vote. We still changed it again. Should we talk about some of the things this was nearly called?
Have you got the list?
I haven't, but I can remember a few of them.
So I've banished them from my memory because it was just there were so many terrible ones.
But first, when it comes to naming the show, right? I mean, we were freaking out about it a little bit because we thought we were never going to settle on a name. Did you have that feeling when you were suggesting a name where you wanted to suggest something seriously, but the tone of the group was so throwaway that you didn't really want to put it forward at that point?
Come on, every time I write anything to you, David, I feel like that. It's
It was a hard process, but we had much ado about gaming.
still a big favourite of mine. I think that was Sean. That was one of your earliest suggestions, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The totem pole was one of my favourites because I suggested it. Bit phallic. Have you seen our album art? That's big thanks to Big Shimaru.
Who's who on the album art, by the way? I feel like each one of them.
We need a colour.
The penises must be each one of us.
I think the listeners should decide which colour we are.
Okay.
Yeah, we shouldn't be arrogant to sort of suggest what colour we're all going to be. But I'm trying to remember some of the others.
Okay, I've got a list here. Right, this is one of my suggestions, and I'm still a big fan. Emergent Game Lads. That's still in there. Midday Resistance. It got a
good. That's nearly very good.
Almost.
See, I don't know why we didn't go with the Gamergators. That was the.
I've got a Gamergate radio here. That
was another one of my suggestions. Yeah,
Press X to podcast. That's a classic.
Press X to podcast. That's pretty good. Why didn't we go with that?
The best bit is when I found that website which had all the common and.
That was an amazing moment.
Old school phrases.
Do you want to explain that? You sent us a link with a complete list of common sort of catchphrases, right?
Yeah.
And we were going down there, and there was some amazing ones on there. There were some really disgusting ones, but there was also some really amazing ones.
Hiding to nothing. Still good.
Yeah.
Play by ear. Foul play. Level the playing field.
I was thinking today, why didn't we go with Video Game Land? What was the reason we didn't go with that?
Sounds terrible. I've forgotten the name. That's going to seem really rude. Lee Alexander has Sexy Video Game Land, doesn't she?
Oh, right, that's right. Yeah, so we didn't want to go
close. I mean, to be fair, it's quite appropriate that she'd have Sexy Video Game Land and ours is just regular Video Game Land without the sexy. But
do you know? I think you're selling yourself short, Sean.
Middle-aged Video Game Land.
But it's been a while since we met up. I've put on a few stones, so.
Yeah, so we finally settled on the computer game show, and I'm sure you'll be happy with that considering some of the other names you've heard. But Matt, right? I work with some graphic designers, which I'm sure you do as well, right? I know how pissed off they get with people asking for free work, right? Mm-hmm. And so I was very cautious in approaching Big Shimmery Wall because he's done some artwork for us when we did Joypod, and big fan. And I was, very delicate around asking him to do some free work for us. You were like, right, make sure he gives us one for the YouTube, one for the Facebook, one for the Twitter. I was like, fucking hell, Matt, calm down. And then when you said you wanted to speak to him personally, I was shitting it. I thought,
give me his phone number now. He's been a massive. He's been a total hero. I mean, I spoke to him a fair bit on Twitter because obviously I've messaged him every day and night. But yeah, he sent over loads artwork for our social channels and stuff. So I mean, massive thanks to Big Shimmy. Well, thanks for putting up with all my crap day and night. But I love the artwork. I think it's great. So thank you.
So basically, the long and short of it is it's a new podcast. Hopefully weekly. We're going to aim for weekly. We'll see how that goes. You would have heard this earlier, but for Sean relaunching Midnight Resistance. Oh, can I get this out? Can I get this out first, please?
Well, nobody would have given a shit if we'd done it the other way around. So. About Midnight Resistance, I mean.
Well, the launch went balls up anyway with your fucking iTunes cocker.
Didn't balls up. iTunes is just shit.
No, it's not though, is it? It's not, because it's working now. And why? Because I messaged you 2 days ago saying it wasn't downloading, and you said, no, iTunes only updates the feed once every 24 hours. I don't know where you got that from. You told me you got it from a document.
That's a thing. That's a known thing. Whenever you change a feed, it takes its time figuring it out.
Maybe in 1998, but not.
Listen, Dave. Which one of us actually administers their own feed?
Which one of us uses iTunes? I know that the moment you put a podcast up these days, it comes straight through. I want to. Let's end this argument with a simple question. Yeah. Who was right?
Bit of both.
Sean, come on, mate. It takes a big man to hold your hands up and say,
how did you fix it?
No, having fixed it, it did not take 24 hours to fix itself.
How long did it take?
I don't know. I wasn't timing.
About a minute. So, David, you were correct on that occasion. I thought that today, as a sort of intro podcast, we could just quickly go through some games we played this year. Because, I mean, I don't know about you lot, but I've been dying to talk about some games that the whole of the internet has got wrong. So I want to go through them. But first of all, I want to ask you all a question. How many of you have downloaded Miitomo?
Me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know it.
And how many of you deleted Miitomo? Just me?
I've not been on it today.
Well, you're missing out on your rewards there, Sean.
That's true.
See, I've definitely been on it because I got a free game out of this, so I'm pretty happy, to be honest.
What do you mean?
You got a free game?
Yeah. Because of the rewards and everything that you get, through doing that, and then I also had some points or something. I don't know how it happened, but I ended up with a copy of WarioWare Touched, so I'm pretty happy with that.
You're kidding?
Yes.
Did you buy that through the app or using the My Nintendo points?
No, it's through the My Nintendo portal. It's like, because you get like points, like for using Miitomo, but you also get like tons of points for doing stupid things like, attaching your Facebook to the account so they can mine your data. And it's
you're just giving your soul over now, aren't you?
Yeah.
It is important to understand that James has also he's already spent about £300 worth of in-app purchases on a
trying to support them, man. It's like £60, it's 500,000 coins. It's good.
Jesus, I hate it. I mean, I had fun with it for about but if I'm being honest, I had fun with it for about a day, and then I despised it because I just.
What's your beef
How
of
can
it?
you despise it? I mean, if you just like, look, enjoyed it, and then I got bored of it. Fuck off.
It seems like a wasted opportunity.
That's absolutely fine. But I don't understand how you could get annoyed with it.
I'll tell you
Dave, it's the new Twitter. Calm down. It's brilliant.
Yeah, mate. Come on.
I'm really disappointed. I think it's a real missed opportunity, and basically because it's got 3 mini games in it, and they're shit. Like,
yeah, there is that.
Nintendo are amazing at mini games. Like, why not put some decent mini games in there to earn coins or scarves or whatever? If that was the case, if they had like a, how do I put it? What was that Tiny Wings kind of game in there instead of just a drop your me and watch him like maybe land on a hat?
Shit peggle, basically.
Yeah. Like, then I would actually have a reason to go back to it and play it and enjoy it and spend time with it. But instead, it's just, and apparently it eats data. It definitely churns up battery life. So I'm just not. I wanted it off my phone pretty quickly.
It's interesting. Like if this is just them dipping their toes in and just being like, look, we're still figuring out how phones work, then fine. But yeah, I do get the impression they want this to be like a platform that actually lasts,
which is ridiculous.
In which case, yeah, they need to do a lot more with it if that's what they want out of it.
It's really like the Everybody Votes channel, that they had on the Wii, but with more in-app purchases.
Well, this is what I was saying. I mean, they're obsessed with questions, aren't they? Inane questions.
It's all about questions.
It works though, because that's what Splatfest is as well. And
but this is it. They've implemented that idea beautifully in Splatoon. Here, it's just these weird questions that pop up every now and then. Like, I was thinking today, how good would it be if Twitter nicked the idea and then once a week, everyone on Twitter got a notification. What do you like best? Chocolate or crisps? And then it gives you the end result of everyone that voted on Twitter. That sort of shit's exciting. I like that. And it gets people chatting and blah, blah, blah. Here, it just feels a lot more closed off. Although, I will say this, I'm surprised with how flexible they are. Like,
they're not censoring it.
Surprised you can swear. I'm surprised you can upload any image. Which, despite what that Eurogamer article, I don't know if you read that Eurogamer article about it.
Sense at all, because it's really open with like what you can do in the sense of swearing's fine, any pictures are fine.
I think that article read like someone had walked up to someone and said, "Look, you need to write an article on Miitomo by the end of the day."
Well, it was written by Simon Parkin, wasn't it?
Simon Parkin's written some great stuff, but like I don't know what was going on with this, because there was bits in it that were completely wrong. There was no sort of, I don't know. I think right. Okay, this is what I think. Everyone wants a nicer version of Twitter or Facebook. Everyone wants that. Like I totally get that, and I'm totally behind it. So everyone wants something like this to succeed. But at the same time, people don't want to be censored, and it doesn't work that way. You know what I mean? It's one thing or the other. And although you're not technically being censored here, it's so watered down that you can't really feel that you can just come out with shit that you want on this social media and it'd be picked up by everyone.
I mean, also like the questioning, it does get really repetitive. I mean, I love that. I think it was John Davidson said, is this actually a massive scam for our bank details? Are they going to start saying, what's your mother's maiden name? Which street did you grow up in? What's the name of your first pet? It's like the questions are kind of like that. It's like just a massive scam.
Yeah, I've seen some people be very witty on that thing. I just don't think they're going to stay there for that long. Not you, Matt.
That's what a lot of it relies on, though, isn't it? It's you and your mates and your mates' mates all have to be very funny in order for it to be consistently entertaining. And it just gets really irritating when you're getting little notifications about just someone who knows someone else who knows someone else just saying something shit.
It's like when you comment on like a cousin puts up a picture of their baby on Facebook and you think, I've got to say something. So you say something and then close the app and then you just see these people that you don't know. Hey, such and such commented on this also. I don't care. The best ones I've seen so far are Timur, when he walks around, Timur Hussein from GameSpot, who walks around in just a bow tie. That shit's funny. And Kate Gray's ones, some of our answers have been brilliant.
Yes.
But I just think, she's not going to last long on it. She's going to go back to doing funny tweets instead because they get more attention. Why waste your gold on there? I don't know. I just not my thing. But you guys are. I mean, you're still on it, are you?
Not really.
Yeah, I immediately was like, I'm really enjoying this more than Hyper Light Drifter, which came out on the same day. But I was like, give it 2 weeks. No one's going to care unless they do something new and interesting with it in 2 weeks, which ain't going to happen.
I think you're totally right, David, though. I bet it does need some more games, like just simple mini games.
It needs either mini games or it needs a way of collecting all the answers in a better way. Because at the moment you've got the things that it does right. I don't want to be too negative. I really like the text to speech stuff. It's funny and it works, right? And that's about. Oh no, that was the other thing. The way that your Miis react to what you've typed is brilliant. Yes. And at the time I was thinking, surely there's going to be some way to manipulate this. And instead of that, I just thought, actually no. Everything I've said, the Miis reacted in the correct way to what I was saying. And that's good. That works. That I'm sure there's a way to manipulate it, but for now it works really well with what you're writing, and that stuff is cool. But there's just nothing there for me. You know what I mean? And when people see me using it at work, I'm just like, nah, I can't. I get embarrassed enough when they see me using Twitter. I can't let them see me playing around with a little version of me. And that was the other thing. Did you also try this? When your little Mii is in his flat, and you're spinning the camera around and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Did you try and touch objects in the room, hoping that something would be there? So something would happen?
Didn't, but now that you mention it,
you would assume it's a Nintendo game, and they'll have little bits like that in it. You know what I mean? Little funny bits like, you press a clock and something happens, or you press the drawers and it opens up and something comes out. I don't know anything, but no, it's just no. You either click the fella or you don't. But they didn't develop this, did they?
No.
Yeah.
This wasn't. This was
DMA. It's developed in conjunction. Yeah, it's DMA. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Maybe that's it. I don't know. I just hope it's a first step rather than their main thrust for the next generation.
For me, though, I thought it's the perfect first Nintendo branded game on mobile. I mean, if they were to put a game out immediately, it would just come with all the criticisms of their other games. It's not as good as this Mario, that Mario, etc. This is basically. It's not. It's out of their comfort zone. It's it's doing a lot of it's doing a lot of sort of social networking things, internet things that Nintendo aren't really well known for doing, or they're only well known for doing it poorly. So I thought it's a great, it's the perfect first step. But and for them to maybe assess how are these things working socially. Do these things go viral? Are people talking about this after a day or a month? It's just far easier to talk about this sort of thing when it has. Things you can share to Twitter and Facebook, things they can track much easier. So for me, it's a great first step. But
considering how backwards Nintendo normally are about the internet, I think, like you say, it's surprisingly well connected. Miitomo, the fact that, it's just got all the Facebook and Twitter buttons and everything. Well, what's that other social network it's got on there?
That's what we're commending.
No, I know it's not amazing, but for Nintendo, it fucking is.
No, I think I agree, because I think it is something. It's made me feel a little more confident about whatever's going to come with the NX or whatever. That it's not going to be.
How can you connect that in any way?
That it's not going to be terrible. That this, because it does work. It works reasonably well.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it's very slow. I think the UI needs a lot of work. There's so many press this button, wait for it to load, press that button to close the menu. But when I was adding my friends on the first day, there wasn't a connect to Facebook. Well, you could connect to Facebook obviously, but it wasn't a add all people. It was you had to add everyone manually. Loads of these quality of life improvements that other apps have got nailed down, and they could have looked at other apps where you connect your Facebook account.
It hasn't got friend codes. I mean, that's the kind of thing.
I was impressed with that. On one day when I thought, what am I can't remember my DS friend code. Am I going to have to go for my old emails and find that 24-digit number? But
they're still banging the QR drum, though, aren't they? They love those QRs, man. Sean, I wanted to talk to you about a video game that I expected you to be bang on, but you have not mentioned it, so I assume you have not played it. The Division.
No, I only played the beta, and then that was that.
Why is that?
Just because I don't need another Destiny yet. Nothing against the game in and of itself.
It's so up your alley, though. I think I messaged you in the week or first week I got it. I was like, Sean, you have to get this.
After what have I played? 50 hours, I think. I'm up to about 50 hours. I can pretty much confirm that you don't need another Destiny, Sean.
And it's not another Destiny.
Okay.
I mean, Matt, you've not played it anywhere near.
No, I haven't played it anywhere near as enough as you. I think I'm level 14 or 15. It's really good, but it's not Destiny.
It's okay. I just think these games are time investments, whatever. And what I've played, I've enjoyed. Don't get me wrong, like I have enjoyed the game, but now I'm at the end game now, and the systems are complicated, but and that's a good thing. But unless you're fully invested in what's going on and the maths behind it, then you can get a little bit confused as to what I'm actually trying to get next. Am I trying to get something with a bigger number? No, because that might knock that number down, and that makes that side of my game a lot worse. And, it just, whereas Destiny was a little bit more simple for the layman like me, then maybe I'll just stick to that. And I just prefer the combat in Destiny, so maybe that's why I'm going to drop it off. But, I mean, you say you like it, Matt, but, I mean, compared to Destiny, you were an absolute beast on that game.
But I've had real life work stuff getting away with this. If that wasn't the case, I probably would have been hammering this every day. I mean, the fundamental difference between this and Destiny, again, I must put 15, 20 hours into this game. If that, nothing compared to Destiny. I'm not even level 30, let alone seeing the raids, which obviously aren't out yet. But I mean, the fundamental difference for me is that the minute-to-minute shooting in Destiny was incredible for me. I love that. The shooting just felt great after my 400th hour playing that game. The shooting still felt great. Whereas the shooting's really good, but it's not enough to make me think, I want to go back and play that tonight, because it felt really great. But I haven't played it enough. I definitely do intend to put more time into it. And obviously, April 12th is when their raids come out, which is a free update. So I'm quite looking forward to seeing what that's about.
Well, you're not going to be able to, are you? I mean, there's no way you're getting into a raid.
Well, no, I also need to play a bit more. But,
a bit more? Jesus, there's loads to get through. I don't even know if I'm raid ready yet. No one knows if they're raid ready until the new content drops, because then the new leveling system comes into play. Like it calculates your gear and stuff like that. And I've been listening to you bang on about RPGs for years, Sean, and that one problem that you keep mentioning about how it deals with higher level players playing with lower level players. Yeah, this completely fucks that up. Totally. You go into a mission and it goes, well, let's go somewhere in the middle of the two. And it's like, right, so you've made it too easy for one guy and too hard for the other. Brilliant. That's what we want. So, I mean, there's a lot to work on. It's just, as I said, that I think the main thing that kept me going with Destiny was how good the combat was. And because this isn't quite as good, I just kind of think, well, I'm going to go back to Destiny now. It does have the Dark Zone, which Destiny doesn't have, which is incredible. There's no doubt.
I've had some incredible moments with that. And I think that I love Destiny to have something like that. I mean, it obviously works with the Division setting. And I think the setting is great. I love the, it's obviously it's more realistic in Destiny. And I love that. I definitely think the guns, although they're realistic, are as interesting. I think the environments are great. I think it looks gorgeous, and the Dark Zone stuff is it's really not a nice take on PvP. But I need to play more. But it's not mind blowing. But I've certainly had a great time with what I've played so far.
See, from what I've seen of it, I mean, it does look very nice, but I've not played it. But then one of the complaints I read was about how it's kind of sparse, the environment. Is that true?
No, not really. What, sparse with enemies?
As in, you have to, walk between things for, quite a long time with there not much happening,
Well,
really.
Once you get to a safe house, you can fast travel there. Or if you're with a mate and they fast travel, you can fast travel to your mate and stuff like that. I suppose at the beginning of the game,
true, but that's definitely true. You do walk between places and it's empty, but the story is that it's quarantine, and so I don't expect to see hundreds of people walking around Times Square. But yeah, I mean it's not GTA. There's not people everywhere. There are a lot of cars with open doors. There are a lot of bins and cats running through the streets and stuff.
Sign me up.
Bins, next gen bins.
That's where it's at. And there's lots to do. I mean, the half of the fun at the first half of the game or 3/4 of the game is that you do stumble across things. You will stumble across a battle, or you will stumble across just a couple of looters walking past you and stuff. That's turn on you. There's little bits like you can see people hang out the windows and watching gunfire and stuff like that. The setting's brilliant, and the sparseness did not bother me. I suppose it did right at the very beginning, where I was kind of a bit like, why am I just walking? Well, once you get used to it, you do start to enjoy it a lot more.
Playing the beta, that was like the first thing that really hit me about it was just that first mission. You first start wandering into Manhattan, and it's like, it was really sparse, but the soundtrack was really good, which I wasn't expecting. And it was just like this nice sort of 10-minute bit. Well, maybe not 10 minutes, felt like 10 minutes, where it was just like, right, go here. And I'm sort of trotting down this road, and then sort of went, hang on, I think I can take a shortcut through there on the left. And then did a bit of like all right parkour stuff, and like got onto a roof and was like cutting about through the blocks rather than just going around them, and that and didn't fight any enemies, but it was all right because I was just sort of getting a feel for the place.
Yeah,
but I suppose when you're
Destiny,
but when you're 50 hours in, that's gone. Doesn't matter how atmospheric your game is.
I don't know. It still has its moments where you'll catch like the end of a blizzard, and then the light bounces off the snow and stuff like that. It still has moments where I'm wowed at what I'm seeing. And some of the interior, the buildings actually are genuinely brilliant. Getting on some of the rooftops and just looking around over in Manhattan's incredible. It still has moments where it takes your breath away. But I don't know, man. I just don't seem to have been as addicted to it as I have other games this year. And that might change. I'm definitely going to try the raid out when it comes. If I've got the right gear, I'll be up for it. But we'll see. Yeah. We'll see. It hasn't helped that the majority of my friends have just been playing it non-stop, so they're far more leveled up than I am. Even now, I've hit the level cap, so they've got better gear. They can go into high areas of the dark zone, and it's kind of like, I feel like I've been left behind a tad.
Well, I definitely feel like, because I'm a level 15, so I feel like I'm going to play basically 90% of the game on my own to get to the end point where you guys are, and that point might be bored of it.
That brings you to the next thing that it does that Destiny doesn't do is the matchmaking, and that's done so well that I wouldn't worry too much about that, Matt.
But I want to play with you guys. So, like I play Destiny, what we're doing, like patrol missions and that. But it feels like we couldn't do a strike together. I mean, like the raid. Obviously, I'm not raid ready right now, but
no.
Yeah, I feel like it does that way worse than Destiny.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I also feel like we're probably judging this game way too harsh. I mean, Destiny, the first year, it was a total joke, and yet I obviously put hundreds of hours into it. But so obviously I was doing something right. But the first year was a joke. I mean, I was stuck on level 24 for like 8 weeks.
Oh yeah.
So many things were broken. And this is a few weeks old. I feel like this obviously it's sold massively well. They're going to put a lot of time and effort into this, and if they put anywhere near the amount of time and effort and listen to the community half as much as Bungie did with Destiny, I think we're going to have a really incredible game down the line.
Right.
But we're obviously judging too harsh, and I'm really interested to see what the raids could be like if they're anything like as good as Destiny raids, which are still some of my best gaming moments. We get best gaming highlights ever. The first time we did Vault of Glass,
that was incredible.
It's a truly incredible moment. And so if it's anything like as good as that, I'll keep playing it. And
well, the later missions in the game, story missions in the game, do sort of hint towards that there's more to do than just shoot enemies, but. Fingers crossed, especially the last boss right at the end. It gives a hint towards what sort of things might be happening later. And that's, that's cool.
Yeah, I know we should move on, but another weird criticism I have is that the trouble is because the enemies are always human, that also feels a little bit boring. I know they can't do a lot else with that unless they suddenly, drop aliens and monsters into it, but
don't worry about it. That's what I'll say. Don't worry about it.
Okay, good. It's gonna be aliens. Cool.
No, just I can't. But you're cool.
Mutations or something like that.
Just zombies just popping up. James has been texting me all week about Fallout 4.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Why? So this game is shit.
Okay, because this thing is right. This is difficult though to talk about this because. This is my self-proclaimed game of the year, you see.
2016 or 2015?
Yeah, very funny. But the problem... that's part of the problem, because the thing is, actually, my game of the year last year was Dark Souls. and that's pretty much what I played for most of the year. And so it was difficult to choose something that actually come out last year, probably. But I still would stand by parts of what I said about that, because... No, we'll come to that, but we'll see. Okay, first of all, though, I want to know, who did you choose at the end?
Right, okay. We're going to spoil this because it's been out a while. No one cares here. Sean, have you played this?
I haven't, but depressingly, I have no intention of doing so. So go for it.
Don't worry about it. I mean, I didn't hate it. Something pushed me to the end. For some reason, I kept going back to it. But at the same time, I wanted to snap the disc. There's a bit in the story that absolutely infuriated me. So let me just run you through the story quick, if you don't mind. And I apologise if you don't want to hear any, Fallout 4 spoilers, then tune out, but you ain't missing much. So the whole idea is that you're in, what they call it?
A vault.
Stasis or some shit. What they call it when they freeze you?
Cryostasis.
Yeah. You're in that. And while you're in that, your wife and your child is opposite, and then someone comes in, shoots your wife, steals the child, then you get out of the vault and you're trying to track the child down. You find out that the person that shot your wife was a guy called Kellogg, and and he's the guy that was they're great. He's the guy that was that you saw through. You think, like, you know what he looks like, and that's how you find out who he is, and then you track him down. And then you steal his memory and look at, what happens? You look at him playing with your son in his apartment.
Yeah, it goes through, like, the whole history of, like, what's happened. Like, you see him having abducted the child, then you see him, like, with your son in his apartment.
Right, so let me just get this right. Let me just spell this out so I can explain why I was so pissed off with it. You search for your son, you see the guy that killed your wife, right? Then you see him playing with your son when he's a little bit older, like 5 years older or some shit. Yeah. And he looks exactly the same, okay? Right. Then you finally meet your son, but it's what you didn't realise is that 60 years had passed since your wife was shot, not the 5 years you initially thought, right? Mm-hmm. And your son is now head of the Institute, which is this, cyborg creating, what do you call them? Sort of just this powerful group that just overlooks the whole Commonwealth, right? Mm. And but you see your son as a young person as well before you see the old man, because they've turned the young one into a cyborg.
No, they haven't. No, that's not right at all.
Go on.
They haven't turned they haven't
they haven't turned the son into the cyborg. Obviously,
they've made a synth. Man. They've just made like a copy of him.
They've made a copy of him. Right, that's what I meant. Sorry,
that's quite a big difference.
Well, yeah, I know, yeah.
No wonder they just pissed off.
I was being silly about. No, what pisses me off is that the whole 60 years has passed thing, but Kellogg still looked exactly the same. Right?
Which is explained. No, do you know it's explained, right?
Yes, I know it's explained. But for the whole of that point, I was thinking, well, my son can't be head of the Institute because I've seen Kellogg in 3 different stages and he all looks the same. So how could 60 years have passed? And they go, oh yeah, and we helped him out to prolong his life. What? That was it.
Yeah, you see, this is what was funny, because when you were playing the game, you were like sending me messages and saying like, where's this going and all that kind of thing. And I told you exactly what I thought was going to happen, and I was right. I knew that his son would end up being head of the Institute. It was so obvious that they were going to do that.
And I said at the time, if that happens, I'll be pissed off, because Kellogg, we've seen him at several points, and he's looked the same throughout the whole thing. So surely that's a huge plot hole.
But you see, what they could have done with that to make it much easier is he could have just been a synth.
Yes.
And then you got problem solved.
Fine. That would have made so much more sense. But instead, I suppose the only difference is you wouldn't have had those sections when you're going through his memory and you're seeing Kellogg grow up.
No, you would have done, because they still, with the whole thing with the synths, is they were often based on the memories of real people. So it could have been.
Okay, fine. Yeah. But instead they just said, we helped him prolong his life a little bit. Yeah. Okay, so how comes his flesh and blood didn't get old Why?
Science, David.
That was what pissed me off the most. It was like as if it was going, okay, you know all these plot holes in this science. Okay, next, let's move on. I was so pissed off, James, when I lost it that night. I just got really fucked off. But anyway, I joined the Institute. That was the answer to your question.
Is that what you did? Seriously?
Yeah.
So you went towards. I'm just going to totally spoil this. Yeah.
We've already gone past that.
That's that.
Because the thing is, I mean, at the end, you pretty much had the choice, as usual in most of these games, to, you know, what are you going to, which faction are you going to side with?
Yeah.
And so you've got the Brotherhood, who in previous games were pretty interesting and pretty cool, but in this one are basically just like a post-apocalyptic sort of Donald Trump. You know, because they got this whole like let's make the wasteland great again thing, you know, going on. You know, as in like by getting rid of anyone that's different. You know, that's like the whole. Yeah, basically that's the whole thing. And so they were pretty horrible. The Institute, I couldn't go with that because they were creepy and they didn't care about anyone else. And also they were basically creating a new slave class. You know, like down there. You know,
out of metal.
Yeah,
out of metal,
but still out of synths. You know, the synths were still kind of like that.
Yeah. Then
you got the Minutemen. I mean, come on, they're just boring. They were just totally boring and ruined the game.
Can I ask a question, James? Do you consider your toaster a slave?
It's mean. My toaster isn't sentient. So the synths are. Anyway.
That's what you think.
Yeah.
It knows what it's doing.
Oh, you got one of those old toasters, have you?
Yeah. So, but anyway, so you got that, and then so the Minutemen were really boring. So I went with the Railroad because they were.
Oh my god, you fucking hippie!
Why?
Oh, they were like, yeah, love everything, man. They're all cool. Everything's cool.
I'll tell you what, there was quite a lot of
shit in it. Everyone getting on.
Yeah, I mean that is the Sean class. We call that. But no, I'll tell you why I joined the Institute. Let me explain, because I said now if I wanted to try and sound smart, I'd say they've got all the intelligent scientists, so surely they're going to be better. The wasteland, the Commonwealth, was a complete fuckhole. Right, everything was going wrong down there, so wipe it and start again. Fine, right? But in reality, I was so pissed off with the story, I went with the cleanest. I went with the cleanest people. These people keep their place nice and clean. Look, they've ironed their clothes. There's no rubbish on the floor. Nice.
Because they were using all those synths to like do all the jobs for them.
Good.
And then they were abusing them. They were like, didn't you get all the dialogue when you're walking around when they're like just like shouting abuse at them and stuff?
Fine. They don't feel things. They're fucking machines.
But the whole point of the game is that they had all those. There's like tons of missions in the game where you're trying to help synths to escape because they're intelligent and they understand what's going on.
But they're made of metal.
So
they're not life.
Oh god.
So we can't get into this because it's like
that's the age-old argument. Oh fuck them, man! We turn them off. We just turn them off.
I just love the image of people like computer-controlled characters just being like, this place needs to be fucking spotless. If that main character turns up and I see a bit of fucking dirt, there'll be hell to pay. He'll never pick us if you fucking mop in there. How's he going to pick us as the winners at the end?
They were clean though, Sean. And they had a gorilla. So
yeah, that's true. They had two gorillas.
That was a bonus, wasn't it?
Yeah, they lost them. I mean, there was other things that were like problematic with that. Like, I mean, how you turn up out of the wasteland, and then after a couple of missions, they make you the leader of the entire thing, which makes no sense whatsoever. Like, they barely know you, and then
that was a bit weird.
Suddenly, you become like this, this leader. Even though, like, because I was playing the other sides anyway, so all the decisions I was making were kind of suspicious. But they were like, "It's fine. You can still be the leader of like the whole thing." But weird. But the thing is, I mean, overall though, it's not a terrible game though. It's really not. No, the trouble is though, is that it's the faction stuff is bad. Like, if all of the missions that are related to factions are really not very interesting.
Yeah, they're terrible, aren't they? The Minutemen one was
the Minutemen
awful.
ones. They totally kill the game. Like, especially because they keep just procedurally sort of generating the same mission over and over again, and you can't ever end it. They just keep going and keep going. So in your journal, you've always got like one of those open, which is just really irritating. But if you venture outside of the factions, there are some really interesting missions actually, and people like in the game world. It's just a shame that the majority of the game does have problems. The main quest
not
is
problems. It was just pissed riot for me. I just didn't really. I didn't get invested in the story. I didn't like any of the characters in it. I didn't like the world. The best bit was when you flew across the wasteland with the Brotherhood of Steel for the first time. That was genuinely, wow, look at all those places. That's really nice. I genuinely thought you'd sided with the Brotherhood. Like, I don't know why. I just had it in my head.
Why on earth would I do that?
Because you're a prick, James.
You're the one who's got no problem with slavery. It's like,
fucking slavery. They're little machines, mate. Fucking calculators. Oh, no. Think about the calculator. You probably love Siri and worry about upsetting Siri too much, don't you?
To be fair, I do sometimes ask her how she's doing.
Yeah.
Ask Siri if she considers herself a slave.
Let's find out.
Don't.
Do you consider yourself a slave?
I've never really thought about it.
Okay, fine.
So there you go then.
Join the Institute.
Thing is, Dave, now you've made Siri think about it. That's it. Skynet's just been born.
You can kiss goodbye to her dictating your text messages ever again.
Yeah. Oh well. There was another game that I really wanted to talk about before you guys can, I don't know, battle on between the three of you. Far Cry Primal. If you haven't played it, fucking pick it up. It's incredible. It got such a fucking poor response. Like, I mean, it got decent reviews, but some of the shit people were saying about that game when it came out was just, I could not relate to it in the slightest. This should be DLC. What? Are you fucking insane? Like, there was that big thing about how the terrain sort of matched the terrain in Fallout 4. Did you see that? In Far Cry 4. Okay. Did you see that? The maps were essentially the same. You wouldn't even notice, mate. It's completely different. It's an incredible game. I spent so much time with it. It does exploration a hell of a lot better than Fallout does. It does, I mean, it's beautiful. It's fun to play. I mean, taming animals is just brilliant. And the sense of progression you get through building up your characters is absolutely immense. I loved every second I played of that. So
this isn't just a reskin of the previous Far Cry games.
It's got moments where you can go, oh, that's the same animation, and that's the same sort of thing that was in the last one. But no, it feels like a genuinely new game. You know what I mean? I mean, you could pick holes in saying, oh, that's just that was in the previous Far Cry games, I guess. But there's enough there that's changed it to make it feel absolutely fantastic again. Do you know what I mean? And some of the missions are genuinely funny and fun to play. So, proper game that. Can't believe how it just sort of, no one really talks about it at all anymore.
No, it came out weird. Well, when did it come out? Like early Jan? Was it early Jan?
Feb, wasn't it? I think it was early Feb. Could be wrong.
It seemed to come and go with very little fanfare.
Which is a shame because, I mean, on a roll-mark, people were saying the same thing. Like, I thought this was going to be awful, and it's genuinely brilliant. And just seeing mammoths and shit is fun. Climbing on their backs and that.
But wouldn't it be better with dinosaurs? Come on, I admit that.
Yeah, but it's not. It's not a dinosaur game. That's the theme they've gone with, and they've nailed it. So I'd rather them do that than try and do a dinosaur game and get it wrong, if you know what I mean. Like, I was a little bit disappointed that it wasn't dinosaurs, but there you go.
Especially as I waited watching that YouTube reveal for about 16 hours.
Yeah.
It's like, it's going to be a fucking dinosaur. They're going to show a T-Rex. There was no T-Rex. It was just a fire.
I've got one of my predictions, Matt.
Ooh, a prediction, you say?
You like these ones, don't you?
I can't get enough of these. Is this an iOS bet? Or
no. I think that they're going to do a new Far Cry, right?
Whoa,
that's not the prediction.
Hold the Jesus.
They're going to do a new normal one that they're used to doing, and then they're going to bring out one set in Rome.
Okay.
That's my prediction.
Why
because
Rome?
They've got to get away from the forests, because that's getting a bit much now. They've already got the basis for a good Roman Empire game. So, like, the clubs and the melee, I always get this wrong. The melee combat. Is that right, Matt?
Yeah, that's one. Yeah,
good.
Nailed it.
And they've got all the Guardian stuff from Far Cry 4 that they could use with it. You know what I mean?
I might get to skin Caesar or what?
That would be pretty good. Make a wallet. Make a Caesar salad out of it.
Well, I love a bloody good Caesar salad.
I don't. Fuck that.
Trick with a good Caesar salad.
Go on.
Diced potatoes instead of croutons, mate.
Fuck off, Sean.
I know. Until I tried it, I wasn't having it. But it's good stuff. Just dice some potatoes and roast them.
Blumenthal, eat your heart out. Which he probably would if he could, wouldn't he?
He would.
With a fucking sparkler stuck in it or something.
That's the name of his new series.
Sean, I forgot to ask you this morning. Actually, did you really give up on a Trackmania challenge?
Yeah, I legitimately gave up. The track just wasn't worth it, mate.
It was bad, wasn't it?
It was rubbish.
This is Trackmania, right?
This is Trackmania Turbo.
Yeah,
it's well good.
It's great, isn't it? It's been really nice to see loads of people getting into it because I've been into Trackmania for ages, but it's mainly been a PC thing.
Did you like it before it was cool?
It's always been cool, mate. There was a Wii version and a 3DS version, which weren't fantastic. And I've been jonesing for years for them to just do a proper, decent online console one.
Yeah.
And obviously this is on PC as well. But yeah, it's just nice to see loads of PS4 owners getting involved.
It's really good. I mean, I said I've written a review for it. It's on spong.com. It might be on spong.com by the time you're hearing this, but I gave it a 9. And
out of 100.
The main point, out of 100. The main point is that it's more hardcore. Like, it's one of the most hardcore racing games I've ever played without needing hundreds of cars or hundreds of real-time tracks. In fact, actually scaling everything back to just, hey, there are 4 types of cars. You can't race them against each other. You're all in the same car, essentially. So the only way to get to the finish line faster is through skill and not from tweaking suspension or having a slightly faster acceleration or something like that. This is literally down to skill. And that somehow makes it a more, I don't know, pure racing game. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like it's the only I'm notorious for not getting on with proper racing games because I just try and go as fast as I can, and then everyone tells me you're not meant to do that, and then I crash.
The Mario Kart effect.
Yeah, basically. Because Mario Kart, it's like if you crash in, it just means you weren't drifting properly. It doesn't mean
if you're hitting a brake, then you're definitely doing it wrong.
Yeah, unless you're playing at 200cc, but I do not enjoy that. For some reason, Trackmania is like the only racing game I can really think about it seriously and actually understand braking zones and when to drift and when to just slow down around a corner, and just like I really enjoy like studying the tracks, probably because they're all really short, or most of them are.
Yeah, that helps.
And like it's so easy to just restart like over and over again, and then like the way that each track that the developers have made, as opposed to the community, you've got your bronze, silver, and gold ghosts to race against.
Yeah.
And it's just really cool being able to just race against them and just see where they're doing things slightly differently, and you learn from them, and it's really good.
The amazing thing that I picked up when we're doing our, I don't know, week 1 of Trackmania was when I was following your ghost, I didn't realise that when you release the accelerator, so you're not braking, but when you release the accelerator, it lets a little flash out of the back of your car. So when I was following your ghost, I was like, oh, he's releasing the accelerator there. So maybe I should, I can take advantage of that by not releasing it at that point.
Actually see where they're, yeah.
It's little things like that where you're like, fuck, man, this is genius. Like, this works so well. And it's got this amazing mode where you're playing 100-player races that is so addictive and so much fun. I mean, I don't know.
That looks brilliant.
It is so good.
Yeah. I watched your stream for about 2 hours the other night, and I was killing myself in bed, like laughing. You like constantly crash, and like because you're streaming, so there's a part of you that was trying to present the game to the audience, but mostly you're like, oh fucking hell, Dave, I've done it again. I hit that pillow again. And I don't know what track it was. It was one where you go like almost instantly into a tunnel, and if you go too fast, you hit the roof or you hit a pillar. Oh god, it was amazing. You kept doing it over and over and over again. I was absolutely dying. My wife Jill was like, "Can you shut up?" I'm watching Dave fuck this game up badly. It looks so fun. I wanted to get it. I obviously heard about the game for many years previously, but it looks such great fun, and it totally reminded me of like Daytona and like past Sega races.
It's £24, Matt. You gotta get it. It's so fucking cheap.
I'll pick it up. Yeah, it looked fantastically fun. Yeah, especially that mode where you had 100.
Well, there's an amazing moment. Like I used to always wait for the big group to go off first, but now I don't. At the moment the game loads, I hit accelerator, because then you get that wonderful moment of getting to the first corner and seeing about 40 cars just completely spin out and fly off in all directions, and it doesn't slow down.
You see everyone get caught out by the same bits and stuff. We should probably like roll back a bit. Although you can take it very seriously as a racing game, but it's a racing game that it doesn't not take itself seriously, but it knows it's a video game.
Yeah, definitely.
Like it doesn't. Like the track can just be floating in midair and have loop loops and corkscrews and stuff, and that's fine. But like I say, the design of it is there that you can take it seriously as a racer, and actually, like as ludicrous as the tracks are, you can still be thinking about how to do each corner properly, and you can study it and you can work through it. And then, like Dave says, the multiplayer mode is it's like you and 99 other people. You don't collide with any of them. They're all just ghosts.
But they're real time ghosts, aren't they?
Yeah. So like he says, you can just like some of the tracks, it's just about getting to the end as fast as you can. Well, they're all about that, but some of them it's like even figuring out how to get to the end is a bit
more
of
like
a
trials.
Bit of a stress.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's two sides to it. There's the hardcore racing side and the trials.
That's what I thought from the.
Sorry, James.
Yes, that's what I thought from the videos I've seen. Because again, nothing I haven't played, but it reminded me of Trials, but also like, okay, this is a long time ago, but like RC Pro Am. As in it, they look more like look more sort of like radio control cars kind of thing. But it's good.
I suppose there's a bit of that to it. Yeah, it's a good game.
I mean, well, I'm glad you've been playing a good game because I've been playing a crap game.
What have you been playing?
Well, you see, I've been playing Hyrule Warriors Legends.
Nothing but good things, James.
Yeah, well, the thing is, okay, the Wii U version was really good. So I really enjoyed it, like more than I was expecting I was going to. But the 3DS version is really not good. It's not a very good game at all, and mostly because it's a bit of a technical mess, and it really doesn't play very well. I mean, even with the new 3DS, it's pretty. I mean, it's not unplayable, but it's not comfortable at all to play with like 3D switched on. So you have to switch that off straight away, and I don't know. I said because I reviewed it, and I just said like everything looks like it's sort of been photoshopped in. Like the characters look like they've been sort of photoshopped into the environment. It doesn't look like in the Wii U version where everything sort of looks like sort of organically in sort of like the right place. It's just a mess, and it looks terrible. I mean, the gameplay is not too bad. It plays quite well, but it looks a mess, and sound is terrible. And I mean, you played a bit, haven't you, Sean?
Yeah, well, I played the demo, and straight away I was like, the fuck is up with the frame rate? And I do not consider myself a frame rate bore, but it really wasn't great. And then I found out if you turn the 3D off, it's more or less fine. But that's a bit shit, isn't it? Yeah. And I tweeted about it, and everyone's like, "Oh, well, you're playing on a new 3DS or an old one?" So I'm playing on a new one. The old 3DS version, you can't even turn 3D on. Doesn't support it.
Wow, really?
Yeah. But that's getting a little bit more common because Final Fantasy Explorers, doesn't matter what 3DS you're on, doesn't let you do 3D.
Really? Okay.
But then
I mean, there's a lot of content there, but it's very repetitive. The game is very repetitive, and also they've done this thing with season passes, which is kind of, it feels a bit kind of slimy. Where they've done, you can, if you want to play using all the content from the 3DS version on the Wii U, then you have to buy like this sort of like pass that allows you to have them on both versions of the game.
Are you kidding? I thought it just came with that.
No, I don't think so. It's no, I don't think so. It's you have to no. That's the thing. That's what people are complaining about. People are complaining because if they own the Wii U version, you can't get that extra content. Like I think you have to pay out, like shell out more money for it or something. Whereas it's like they're trying to force you to buy the game again, and it really is like the same game but worse. It's really not that great. I mean, because it was part of this whole sort of like Legends thing, and I mean, there was an April Fool's the other day which said that they were going to release Splatoon, as Splatoon Legends on 3DS, and I saw that and I didn't even realise it was an April Fool's because I was just like, that sounds something like Nintendo would do at the moment, but it's not true. Well, fortunately, I guess. But
totally
it's a weird
limbo at the moment, aren't they? They are totally in limbo.
Yeah.
They're just
Well, there's not much coming,
really
is there?
No one really knows if the NX is going to supplant just the Wii U or if it's going to replace the 3DS as well, because there's all this stuff about it being a hybrid device.
Which they've never confirmed. You know,
I think they've denied it, but then it wouldn't be the first time they've denied something and later turned out to be true.
Yeah, I mean, how well is the 3DS selling? I mean, isn't it still like going gangbusters, or is that just
3DS is fine? Yeah,
it's doing
although
okay.
you wouldn't know it like just based off like how often people talk about it. Like name some cool upcoming 3DS games.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That Metroid one. There's that Metroid one that everyone hates. It's that's kind of funny. But yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, there's not that much upcoming, which is why it kind of feels like the NX is coming. Yeah, that they must be doing something, because
it has to be, because Treehouse is going to be dead at E3 if not.
What was all the people they fire? It's like,
that was weird, wasn't it?
If there's anybody else.
It was weird.
Or people getting either upset or defensive over something that they know absolutely nothing about. Do you know what I mean? There's obviously that's some sort of conversation happened there between an employer and an employee. Yeah, everyone seemed to want to wade in with their comments on it. And you just kind of think, hold on, let's try and at least wait for...
The reasonable opinion there. There are a number of potentially valid reasons she could have been sacked.
Yeah, should we give a bit more background? Or
Nintendo still could have... Sorry, go on.
Fill us in.
I'm so not going to. I haven't got all the facts.
I just want to... Okay, but can I just clarify something? As a Pro Gamergate podcast, what is our position on this?
We're not a Pro Gamergate podcast. We fucking hate those fucks. So I don't know what you think this is, James.
Okay,
just messing with you. It's yeah.
So what was her name?
Is it Alison Rapp?
Alison Rapp, a Nintendo employee, was fired. Initially, everyone thought it was because of the amount of abuse she was getting. Because the game didn't have.
Well, it wasn't just the abuse; it was the fact that Gamergate knobs were like harassing Nintendo and being like, "You should fire her because of things she's done." Basically, about 5 years ago, she wrote an essay that was defending the way that the sort of slightly sexualized way that small girls are portrayed in Japanese games. Basically, the argument was that, cultural differences, so you should just sort of leave them to it, which she now doesn't agree with, and she said this. She's like, no, I was talking shit. But again, you can see why, if that was to come to light, Nintendo's a family-friendly company.
But I heard she was fired for either naughty photos.
Well, there's that as well.
Yeah.
Or
I heard that she was fired because it was like moonlighting. She was doing that. She was working elsewhere as well.
Well, yeah, she was taking saucy photos of her inner knickknacks with a 3DS and selling them.
This is what...
See, I do that all the time. I don't get anything from it, though.
This is right. Okay, two things here. Let me just... Firstly, I think that it is a very awkward situation for a company that if this stuff has come to light through abuse and wankers, right? So, but can they ignore it? Can they ignore the way it's come to light? Or, because although it's a horrible way that it's come to light, it's still come to light. So can it just be ignored and moved on? I don't know. Probably, actually. you know what I mean? But,
it's one of those things that actually people at Nintendo probably knew, but they were just like, look, we can't officially know about this.
Yeah.
Because then we'd have to do something. And now everyone knows they do definitely officially know, so they have to do something about it. But yeah.
Also,
so basically,
listen to us talk about it. It's embarrassing to me because we don't know enough to make comment on this. We don't know enough about Nintendo's point of view. We don't know enough about her point of view. I just find it really embarrassing that everyone's got a real solid opinion on something they know so little about at this point, and probably will ever know about. A lot of people,
like that. It's a bit like that fake NX pad. It's the.
We'll get to
I think that's the only thing that irks me is I'm sure the reasons for sacking her were legitimate, or I hope they were. Is that a nice thing to say? I don't know. But they could have still plainly told Gamergate to fuck off.
Could they though? Should they be getting involved in people's lives like that? I don't know. If I was getting abuse, would my company step in and go, listen, chill out?
Well, if the abuse was landing at your employer's desk and everyone's saying they should fire you because you do a shit podcast about games,
please don't.
It's true, but I don't think anybody wants to touch Gamergate, do they? Like, they don't want to interact with those people at all.
The trouble with Gamergate is there's no way anyone could go back at them and actually look good. It's best just to try and ignore it. Although obviously in this case, it's there's that personal.
There's fucking Nintendo.
Feelings on the line.
Surely one of the 3 biggest games companies on the planet should be able to stand up to them.
Yeah, but what can they do? They're like an unstoppable force with no like head of state. They're just like they're like an idea, like they're a mindset. But how can Nintendo actually go against that and attack it?
Just a statement. Nothing they can say. Like, by the way, guys, we're not doing this because you told us to.
We don't think you're cool. We think it's
such
a
tricky situation.
Fucking lunatic.
No one knows enough about it. I think we should move on. James, what you saying? The Nintendo, the fake controller?
Yeah, the fake controller thing was pretty entertaining.
That was amazing. Yeah,
it's pretty good. The best bit of that was when people began to think that it was real, and then people started to justify it. They started to the whole thing like, oh, actually, this looks really good, and it's like, whereas previously everyone was saying how terrible, what an awful idea. I mean, what do you think? I mean, was anyone taken in by this? Like,
I thought it was legit.
I really
saw it. Yeah.
Okay, I really wanted it to not be real.
Same here.
Like, but honestly, like, it wouldn't be the weirdest thing Nintendo have done.
No.
So,
yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I thought they're not going to take the worst thing about iOS gaming and have the whole thing as a touchscreen like that. I mean, but then also they're Nintendo. They might, when I saw the Wii, I thought, what the hell is that name? And what the hell is this waggly thing? And in the end, it was fantastic. But I just thought, and also, it was exactly the same as the patent. So I thought, maybe this is it.
I think the giveaway
that's
there
the
was
stuff I've seen in the past. Who knows?
The giveaway was there was no like vitality sensor built in.
That's what was missing.
Yeah, that's what was missing.
Did you see
that?
James? Did you see the Reddit post where people had worked out exactly where the photo was taken?
Yeah, I saw that. It's a tree.
Same fucking tree, man. Same fucking tree.
The reflection.
They say it was like it was Ubisoft or something. They said it was like Ubisoft Europe or something.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I don't buy that whole thing though of Nintendo show really weird stuff, but it always works out. Like we think it's rubbish now, but it always works out. The Virtual Boy was terrible.
Yeah, that was Wii U didn't really go down too well, did it?
Yeah, there's been a whole bunch of stuff like that. It's they've got their batting average is not that great when it comes to like showing stuff. They just struck it very straight very well with the Wii and DS. But
I think I was like the closest I came to rationalising it was that just at best. Okay, Nintendo might make some interesting and fun stuff for it, but no one else is going anywhere near it. Like with that weird screen ratio and no buttons and all that, I was like, no one's going to touch it. Yeah. Exactly, yeah.
What do you mean lose them? They ain't got them in the first place.
I was going to say, it doesn't make any difference whatsoever.
A new version of Mass Effect 3 on that thing.
It's gonna be a fascinating E3. I can't wait.
Yeah, do you think this new PlayStation thing's all been confirmed, right?
Yeah.
Has it been confirmed?
Not officially, but like people were saying, what's the latest with it? Like developers have said, no, there's definitely a new one coming or some shit.
Yes.
I mean, it started. It's a patroclipic, a Kotaku story where people had overheard developers at GDC say there is this more powerful, 4K. PS4 in the works, and then I guess Ecliptic or Kotaku in general sort of talks to their sources, and a lot of other developers seem to confirm the same thing. I mean, this obviously comes only a few weeks or whatever it is since Phil Spencer or whatever Xbox said that they weren't averse to, changing the game and maybe potentially upgrading their Xbox. So it comes at a really interesting time.
Which is weird because then now he's rolled back on that and said that they're not interested in doing that. It's yeah.
I mean, but it doesn't make sense for Xbox to do it because it's Xbox who are behind the curve and their machine isn't as powerful. So but then also Sony have got PSVR coming. They need extra power. if they release this, I mean, I'm totally torn. I always want the latest and greatest thing, but
yeah, but I'm not.
If you haven't got a 4K TV, what's the point?
Yeah.
But I might go on in the future. Well, I will definitely go on in the future.
My favourite thing was that there was an article, I can't remember on what website, that said, why would Sony, what's the point of bringing this 4K PS4 out? Like, what's the advantage? What sort of customers do they think they're going to pick up? And I said, well, people that have bought a 4K TV and want
people like Matt Murray
want a 4K Blu-ray player to go with it, and think.
I was going to say, because if you bought a 4K TV, what have you got at the moment? You can watch Marco Polo on Netflix.
Brilliant. Just keep watching that.
But like,
pretty terrible that is.
I mean, it's an alternative as a 4K Blu-ray player in my book, and you get a wicked console to go along with it. So, I think that's the market they're going to go for.
That's true, but David, how many Blu-rays do you own? Like film ones?
How many Blu-rays do I own? Not that many. I suppose a few. I don't know really why.
Well, I'm just wondering because, like, as a format, I don't think it's really that relevant anymore. Like, as in it is for people that are seriously into film and stuff, but for general, I mean, a lot of people just stream now.
Yeah, but can you stream 4K stuff? Is that a common thing?
Yeah.
Well, then again, because my PS4 won't be able to stream 4K stuff, will it, and present it on a 4K TV? Is that right?
Absolutely. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
So that this new player will be able to. So on top of it,
upgrade, Dave. Got to upgrade.
I'm not going to. I'm not that bothered. I'm quite happy with HD. It works for me, and I'm sure if I see a 4K game running, I'll be like, I want that. But it's not really worth the price of a new console for me. Do you know what I mean?
The thing is, it's going to be a pain in the arse for devs either way. Like, because they've got two versions to optimize, running at two different resolutions. I mean, all right, so the PS 4.5, whatever it is, will be more powerful to sort of compensate for that, but it's still going to be an extra job. And all your anything that's 2D, so like user interface elements and stuff, might be a bit of a pain as well, because you have to scale, like you have to render them at different resolutions and make sure they look all right at different screen sizes. And because I remember when HD first happened. And then, if you weren't running HD games in HD, then you just couldn't read. Like, Dead Rising was one of the first.
Yeah, but all text was tiny, wasn't it?
Yeah, you just couldn't fucking read anything. You might start getting issues like that creeping through. But,
I just hope that performance goes down on the older versions of the console. Do you know what I mean? I've got a horrible feeling that everything's going to be developed for the new one, and it'd be downgraded slightly for the old one, and we'll start seeing performance issues. But I don't know. It's too early to tell with all that shit. I just think maybe more option would be good, but it's not interesting me. I don't know.
I don't think they're going to do anything too drastic with that, because it would really upset a lot of people, I think, at this stage.
Yeah.
But James, would you pick up a PS 4.5? You haven't got a PS4, so this is surely the time to jump in.
I would not, because I haven't got a 4K TV, and I can't afford one.
And even if you did, the normal PS4 will get a lot cheaper when the 4.5 comes out.
That's true. Might as well jump in at the low end, James.
Well, that's why I bought a Wii U.
Right then,
and the next one.
I'm done chatting about games now. I think for a little bit for this week.
Yep.
Unless anyone else wants to bring anything up, I think we're pretty much done here.
That's good.
Good. Yeah. Matt, you're our social media man. Do you want to go through our list of links?
Well, because it's 2016, you can't just bang out an audio file on a blog anymore. You need to create about 50,000 accounts. So sit down, get a pen and paper, and I'm going to start listing every single social media account in the world. So we're obviously on Twitter. We are at Computer Game Pod on Twitter. We're on Facebook and SoundCloud. And if you facebook.com/thecomputergameshow, same on SoundCloud. We're going to put episodes out every week every week. If we record every week, we're going to put an episode out on SoundCloud. We're also on YouTube. If you just search for the Computer Game Show, we're gonna basically put our shows out every Wednesday, hopefully, or Well, essentially, I think the day after iTunes, it'll be on YouTube. We're also on other channels now, but we're not going to bother them just yet. Let's just focus on Twitter, Facebook, and SoundCloud, and YouTube, and Snapchat, and Bebo, and United.
What's the hashtag, Matt? What's the hashtag?
We have no hashtag.
What? Surely you thought about what hashtag you want people to use. Have you not thought of that?
We have no hashtag. We're not going to do a hashtag.
We're not going to do a hashtag.
We're anti-hashtag on this show.
Right. Okay. There we go. Don't hashtag.
Please, it's the last thing we want.
But again, the Twitter feed is what is it? Computer Game.
It's Computer Game Pod. Yeah. So Computer Game Pod on Twitter, and we are the Computer Game Show on both Facebook and SoundCloud.
We also have an email if you want to sponsor the show. If you're a PR agency that thinks they want to send us free games, if you want to send us money, what's the email address?
Fuck, that is a really good question.
That's a weird email address for the show, but fine. This isn't for questions. We'll do questions on Twitter for next week's show. We'll put a call out on the Twitter feed. But yeah, if you're a professional person that wants to sponsor or send us free shit, Matt,
email thecomputergameshow@gmail.com. Basically, if you are Squarespace, lynda.com, stamps.com, and what everyone's on every single
MailChimp.
Yeah. If you're MailChimp, get that.
Chimp.
I use MailChimp.
Really?
No, of course not. No one does. So MailChimp, if you want to sponsor us, there we go. Is that it? We're all done.
We are done.
Next week, hopefully, we'll be back.
So one in the can.
Tell all your friends about the Computer Game Show, because this is the Computer Game Show. And thanks.
It's the only computer game show.
That's what
was another name that
was another name that was suggested. The only computer game show. Jesus Christ. See you later, everybody.
Bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.